Shiloh for 20 years. Prior to that, I was trustee for 16. So I'm 36 years into it. By the way, I don't get a retirement, and I don't get a pension, and I don't get insurance. So don't ever think that of me, because I don't get none of those benefits. The mayor at the time, when I was 24 years old, came to my home one morning and asked me to run for trustee. And I said, I don't know about that, Red. I said, if I lose, I'll have to move out of Shiloh. This is my home, and I could never face my friends. He said, Jim, you don't have to worry about it. You're not going to lose. And I looked at him and I said, no, I don't want no funny business. I wouldn't be up to that. He goes, you will be unopposed. I said, oh, okay, I'll take that then. So thus I became a village trustee in 1984. The mayor asked me to chair the finance committee, and our first budget that I did, I'll never forget it, it was $58,000. That's $58,000 for the whole operation of the village of Shiloh. Back then we had a part-time police department. We had one police officer, 2 part-time street workers, and they also ran the water department, because the village did own the water department. That was a separate budget for that, but the general fund budget was $58,000. We have people that make almost double that now, but a long time ago. Shiloh has changed a lot since then, and I'm still proud to say that I've been partly responsible for all of that. We're in a good location, obviously, so the growth has come to Shiloh because of that as well, and a lot of vacant land. Scott Air Force Base has been very good to Shiloh's growth as well. But so I served as trustee for 16 years, and the mayor that had asked me to run for trustee came to me again. He said, I'm done. He said, I've served 20 years, and I would like to pass the hat. And he says, I want you to take it. So I'm sorry, Red, I can't do that. I don't have the time to be the mayor. He said, oh yeah, you do. You can do it. He says, not only are you going to do it, you're going to be the mayor for 20 years. I said, yeah, right. I might make 4, but lo and behold, here I am, 20 years. And I'm going for 24 again. Don't know why. But I do enjoy it. I do enjoy making people happy. Again, one of the things that, one of the complaints I get about old Shiloh residents are the fact that we have traffic in our community. Mind you, when I was elected in 1984, the population was about 900 around there, and now we're at 14.2, and we're expecting the census to tell us we got about 15.5. But so a lot of growth and a lot more traffic. We're fortunate. Our commercial side of Shiloh is all along I-64, so the residential side doesn't get affected by all the commercial traffic and that, and I'm happy with that that we do have it that way. But growth has been phenomenal since I started. The Deerbergs complex came in 2001, and it's been nonstop since that time. Had a bad year in 2007 when a project that we're banking on has not still has not developed. But residential is 99 homes last year in 2020. That's the most homes in Shiloh, brand new homes, since 2007. So the market is back for residential, no doubt. But I don't know. I have a few more things that I'd like to see completed, and one of them is some road expansion work that we're going to be putting a bunch of money into on Greenmount Road and Frank Scott Parkway. Those are county roads, and the county gets federal and state tax dollars to take care of those roads. And they just haven't been able to help us out by improving them. So the village is going to put in about $3.5 million to build a new bridge on Greenmount Road at the White Castle there. And we're also spending money on Frank Scott Parkway to expand that. As you know, Memorial Hospital is out there. The Siteman Cancer Center, something I'm very proud to have in Shiloh. Right now under construction is the Rehabilitation Institute of Southern Illinois, and St. Louis has two of them, and this is their third. BJC and Essence Health is building this in Shiloh. It's a 40-bed hospital dedicated to rehabbing patients. My dad, God bless him, he just passed away recently. He had rehabbed several times in nursing homes because we didn't have anything like that in St. Clair County. For the future, for people, when this hospital opens, instead of going to a nursing home, you'll be going probably to the Rehabilitation Institute that's dedicated nothing but for rehabbing patients. So it's going to be a great addition to have in our community, just like the Siteman Cancer Center. My sister-in-law, she traveled for 5 years to Barnes Hospital in St. Louis for cancer treatments. Sadly, she also has passed, but I do recall the burden it was to take her over there every day, and they don't have to do that anymore. A lot of the patients, cancer patients, I have a friend in O'Fallon's being treated 5 times a week in Shiloh. It's a huge improvement for healthcare in St. Clair County and our region. I just want to keep it going. I like what I do, and I want to see some more improvements to our parks. We're going to add 20 acres of land and for sports fields in the future. But any questions? Yes, Cindy, go ahead.
What about your award that you just received, sir?
The award for the Abilene Trophy.
Yes.
Well, it's a regional award, but Shiloh's part of it. The Abilene Trophy goes around the country to Air Force installations, and it's a very competitive award. Every year you have to put together all of the things that you do to support the military, whether you're having we have Salute to Scott at the Chamber in O'Fallon. Belleville has the name escapes me, but they have an event that they support the military as well. And all of the other things that we do, we go out to Scott Air Force Base every few months pre-COVID, and we provide the young airmen a meal. It happens about every 3 months, and different groups do it, but that's one of the things that we do. Anyway, all of these things are put together in a packet, and the packet's about 6 inches thick, and a binder, and mailed, and the competition starts because that goes on at most every military installation in the country. And Scott Air Force Base, or the chamber, the regional chamber here in our area, was awarded the Abilene Trophy again this year. We had it 3 years ago. Prior to that, we had never had the trophy, and the trophy had been around for about 20 years. So for us to have it twice in 3 years shows that our area does indeed support Scott Air Force Base and the military people that are out there. So very proud of that. Everybody should be. And Scott Air Force Base is the economic engine that moves our region here on this side of the river. Without Scott, I beg to differ. I can't imagine what the area would be like, because they pump so much money into our area, billions in all of the payroll and all of those people spend their money in Shiloh and O'Fallon, Belleville. They spend it everywhere. I recall one business was particularly surprised when they opened the volume of business that they got from Scott Air Force Base, because in their studies it doesn't pull the numbers from Scott Air Force Base, so they didn't have that information in their diligence when they were trying to decide to build this store. And afterwards they were really pleased with all the extra business that they realized, and that was Scott Air Force Base money. But good question, Cindy. Thank you. Anybody else have anything? Any thoughts? Again, my phone is on my webpage, Facebook page, Re-elect Vernier for mayor, and my cell phone's on there, 618-558-3987. You can always call me. Any resident can call me. We have a very competitive trustee election this year as well, so I encourage you to go to the Chamber of Commerce's O'Fallon Shiloh Chamber of Commerce Facebook page and view those interviews of the various candidates, because we need all the help we can get on our board. Yes.
You have a Vernier running for that also, don't you? Is he related to you?
Yes, there is a Vernier running. My brother Jay has decided to enter politics, and I'm not sure if I want him to get elected or not. But he has decided he said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get involved. And I said, well, the only way you can do that is to get on the board. Don't call me and complain to me. Show your interest and get involved. So he has. Yes, and Sean Boyer is here in the audience. Sean may be speaking with you all later, but he's one of the candidates. So it'd be a good thing. Like I said, in the 20 years I've been mayor, I usually struggle to find people to run. We barely fill the slots that are needed, and this year we have 7 people running for 3. So I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing for the taxpayers to get other people's interest involved. One of the things that disappoints me is that I think things are good in Shiloh. They really are. But I still would like people to complain to me once in a while. I don't get complaints. I mean, I go out and I see a pothole. I call my guys and say, hey, there's a pothole. It looks like it's been there for months. What, has nobody called? And nobody calls. So we need people to get involved. And when you see something you don't like, call and tell us. We don't have a list where we're going to come and check you out. We'll take care of the problem.
Well, let me ask you a question. Well, hey, you got a question over here.
I have an observation.
Yes, sir.
I find that many of us who are running are, in your case, you're running certain precincts in the township, Secretary Township, Sean Jr., and he's also in that situation. I think we need to realize that some of us need to back each other. And I'm running in the township, you have a precinct, and I'm running in, if I have information on you, I can distribute it to you, and vice versa, but I don't know that. And you see that as an issue, just in the sense of getting people elected, but we don't really communicate and share information like we should.
Well, that's true. Getting your name out there, the information, when you're running for office, it is difficult to do. I encourage you to make phone calls, to use that voter registration list you have. That's the best way to get your name out there. Shiloh is so we were dissected by St. Clair Township. We have Shiloh Township. We have O'Fallon Township. So you have to keep people involved in all these different groups, and it's hard. Same with school districts. Shiloh has 3 high school districts. We have O'Fallon High School District. We have Muscuda School District, and we have Belleville East. Again, some people that have one school district, they can send information out to their high school, to their students, and the families at home everybody gets it. But in Shiloh, if O'Fallon High School sends a flyer out, only half the people in Shiloh get it, because the other half are in the other school district. So it is very difficult to get the word out in our community, because we're dissected. We're dissected by fire districts, various fire districts, school districts, zip codes. We have 4 zip codes in Shiloh. It's ridiculous, but we do. So it's just a job, and you got to pursue it and stay at it, and you got to be dedicated, because a lot of people they're not going to search this stuff out. You've got to get it to them. So would be what I would have to say. My comment.
Okay, I got a question for you. So you've been a mayor for 20 years. You're running for 4 more. It's obvious you've accomplished a whole lot of things since you've been there. And that's, I'm sure, why you're still there. Because if you weren't doing your job, you wouldn't be there. People would vote somebody else in. The fact that you're there, that's a compliment to you, that your willingness to do what's necessary to get the job done for the community. So being a politician, because that's what it's all about, is politics, what could you tell somebody else that's running for office to do what to literally do your job as a politician?
Well, take for instance the village trustees, the seven that are running. If you get elected, you've got to stay involved. Your number one priority, of course, is to attend the meetings and to vote on the things that we're doing in our community. But you also have to tell us, call me, call the village hall and say, hey, you know, I was driving down the road and I saw a problem. We ought to be addressing it. If you think that we should do something in our parks, if we got a project you'd like to see the village pursue, you've got to bring that to us. Your job isn't just to come to the village board meeting and to vote and approve what I propose. You also need to propose your own ideas, the more people that are involved and the more thoughts, the better our community will be. Like I say, I've been here a long time, 20 years, and one of the things that I remember most in Shiloh when I was a kid is we didn't have anything to do. We rode bikes up and down the hills. We had a couple of swings and a slide in our park. Our park back then was all volunteer. That was not supported by the village of Shiloh at all. It was supported by the Shiloh Improvement Association, and anything that happened there was funded by the picnic money or bingo. And so that's how I got involved in the community. Was it started working with the Improvement Association. We started the Shiloh JCs. Shiloh JCs bought used Christmas lights from Redbud, and that was the first Christmas lights Shiloh ever had. We put them up when I was probably 20 years old. Volunteer guys did it. And that's what makes a great community, is having people that are involved, that are involved in various organizations, various churches. I'm involved at my church. Shiloh is Corpus Christi Catholic Church, but we have Faith Family, we have Cornerstone, we have Shiloh Methodist, and we have Shiloh Valley Baptist Church in Shiloh. All of those churches also help to make our community great by doing various things, not only spiritual, but other things that help the community.
Now, all the communities got affected by COVID. And I know that we had situations where the governor put a lot of pressure on different municipalities and stuff in order to get his COVID restrictions and stuff enforced, I guess might be a better term. How did you deal with that and the businesses? I know small businesses, especially restaurants and stuff, I know in the Belleville area, because we pastor our church here in Belleville. And I know that there was a lot of grief that a lot of the businesses had because they couldn't do anything, and they got a lot of pressure. I know in other towns as well that because they did open up, they were told different things. There was some pushback from Springfield about what they was going to do, withholding some vaccinations and different things like that, because they went ahead and allowed their restaurants and stuff to open up things. So how did you deal with that? How did you make it through the this part of the COVID thing and dealing with the small businesses and the restaurants?
Well, it was very difficult, I can tell you that. I'm glad that it's behind us, I believe. I firmly believe that it's behind us. But we still have to be vigilant. But Shiloh, obviously the governor did have his restrictions, and our local establishments had to deal with that. The village did not enforce the governor's mandate. We allowed that up to the individual businesses to choose what they wanted to do. Most of the corporate restaurants did shut down and abide by the governor's restrictions. The local places, they had to do what they had to do to keep the doors open, and they did. The Shiloh Eagles is an organization I'm a member of. We kept things going. They had chicken dinners, and they drive-through chicken dinners, and I think some of that stuff was frowned upon. They didn't want them doing anything. The governor, the county health, or the state health department didn't. But we got through it. I had been My daughter at the time, who's now at Mizzou, she was in Wilmington, North Carolina, going to school there in May, and I had to go down there to move her back here to eventually go to Mizzou. But when I was down there, the beaches in Wilmington were packed. This was at the height of COVID, and they weren't having a problem with it. Florida was open as well. Don't get me wrong, COVID was bad, and I lost some friends.
Yeah.
I did, but we can't shut down our entire. I hope it never happens again, and I hope that we never have to shut down our economy, because we now have a different leader in the federal government, a new president. I think number one, he's there because COVID caused a lot of problems, and they were exasperated by certain parties, but it is what it is.
Did you, members of your business community, your small business, were you presented with the PPP loan?
Program.
You only had to have 25% of your business, and you could get a loan. And they also signed that people that have under 20 employees will get their loans first. So did you guys get the information about that?
We did, and like I say, the corporate restaurants in Shiloh, the corporate stores and that all applied for it. Some of the local establishments didn't want to apply for it because there are certain things that you have to disclose in order to get that money, and they were unwilling to do that. So they didn't get the PPP money. But a lot of the 54th Street, Applebee's, I want to say the majority of those stores down there, I know Target and Deerbergs didn't apply for it. They did gangbusters business during the pandemic. But the smaller, all those small corporate stores all applied, and they were actually delivered the information directly from the state. So the state did on that. The PPP money was good for those places. It's good for Shiloh. Actually, with Windfall, they paid $450,000 for our police department because they worked during the pandemic. Well, they were going to work anyway, so we were going to have to pay them, but because they were working under COVID conditions, the federal government paid their salary, and so we're going to use that money for obviously good things in the community, but it was a bonus to us. We had to pay those salaries regardless. And again, our sales tax was actually steady from the previous year, down very, very little, maybe 50,000. But because Deerbergs and Target, who are the two number one big stores in Shiloh, and the sales tax drivers, Wilkie Window and Doors is another big sales tax driver in Shiloh. All three of those businesses are doing gangbuster business, and the whole time during the pandemic. So we were fortunate in that regard. Other communities that count on a lot of sales like Fairview Heights, I venture to think that Fairview Heights probably their sales tax is going to be down significantly last year from the previous year, because people didn't go to Macy's, they didn't go to all of those types of stores, but they had to go to Target and Deerbergs for the essentials to live.
Well, I tell you, I want to applaud you for the fact that you allowed the businesses to do what they felt they needed to do to keep going. You know, the fact that you didn't force them to shut down like some mayors did, and I want to applaud you for that. I mean, that shows the character on your part that you consider them there, because they're the people that are there. They're your constituents. They're the people that you're really fighting for. The people in Springfield are not the people that you're fighting for. You're fighting for the people in your local community, and the fact that you took their interest to heart and was willing to help support them, I want to applaud you for that. I think that's a great thing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Springfield, what the governor mandates, the governor's never had to worry about a paycheck. He's a trust fund child. He doesn't feel the way the rest of us do. I mean, he's never had a concern about how am I going to pay my bills, how am I going to pay for my kids' schooling, and that's a given for him. So for him to mandate our state to shut down like it did, it was a little hard for me to swallow.
Yeah.
but thank you.
Yeah.
And if you know anyone in Shiloh, please remind them to vote on April the 6th, and we're going to keep things going in the right direction. I've been mayor for 20 years, trustee for 16 years before that, and I'm very proud that we've never had a scandal in Shiloh. We've never had. There's unfortunately some communities around here that scandals are a weekly thing, especially below the bluff. But we've never had that here, and I'm proud of the fact that our community is number 2 in St. Clair County. Fallon's number 1 desired, ours is number 2, but actually our homes, average sale of our homes is higher than what O'Fallon's is. So I take a little bit there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me and listening to me. I appreciate it.